Hey guys, welcome to this week with Bob and Chris. It's been a crazy week, and Chris and I were just talking in the green room, and there's been more cyber breaches and people going out of business because of it. Latest one that Chris posted the other day was Lincoln College. Um, where was that, Chris? Where's Lincoln?
It's in Lincoln, Illinois. It actually they broke ground on Abraham Lincoln's birthday in 1865. So 157 years they've been around, and between declining enrollment from COVID and then they got a massive ransomware attack in December. It took them till March to actually fully restore, and they announced less than 2 months later that they were closing because they they looked at the enrollment and they couldn't justify the cost.
That's crazy. So they had a double whammy: the COVID and ransomware.
Yeah, and you think about it, they've went through an economic crisis in 1887. They had a campus fire in 1912. This is on their website, by the way. They went through the Spanish flu, the Great Depression, World Wars, to a global economic crisis in 2008, and what ends them? A pandemic and then ransomware.
That's crazy. Hey guys, why don't you comment in the comments in the comments if you know of any businesses that have suffered ransomware and gone out of business, because a lot of small businesses might partially recover from a ransomware attack, but a significant number go out of business within 6 months because a lot of times they don't recover at all, and that data is sitting there. So if you know somebody, you don't need to call them out in the chat, but just comment below that you've actually seen or heard of somebody that's actually getting getting severely impacted and going out of business, because Lincoln College, I'm not sure how many people they employed, but that's a lot of people that lost that are potentially losing their jobs now because of a ransomware attack and a pandemic.
Yeah, and if you look at it, if you go to lincolncollege.edu, you can read their end note, which I think their final day is tomorrow.
Oh wow,
They had record breaking student enrollment in 2019. Their residence halls were at maximum capacity. So this isn't something like they weren't struggling up until 2020. They were doing well. And obviously, everybody struggled the last couple of years, but they just couldn't recover from the ransomware. They actually talk about it too, like what actually got hit, but all their systems for recruitment, retention, fundraising efforts were all inoperable. All of it. That took
yeah,
them
it's
three.
really
Yeah.
a ransomware attack into the university really affects the students in the long run, because how do you verify degrees now if they didn't get if they weren't able to recover that data?
I,
Pull a diploma off the wall and photocopy it.
I mean that was almost an entire semester. Think about that too. I mean, the semester's end in May. I mean, they were gone for 3 months out of the semester. I don't even know how they were operating. Honestly, they don't really dive into that too much. But it just kind of highlights like what you said. Within 6 months of a ransomware attack, this is within 6 months.
Yeah.
They just decided in 157 years and everything that they've been through, everything that they've lasted through, and a week in enrollment's one thing, but have that devastating of an attack that takes them out is just it's heart wrenching, especially for.
I'm scrolling through the site here. They had a $20 million endowment, so
Yep.
sitting out there, which was higher than the average, which was higher than the average school. And um, now the bad guys got it. That's crazy.
Well, and you don't know how much too, like how much does actually cost them even to get back up in 3 months. Like they don't go into that, and it'd be interesting if they ever do release those numbers, like how much did they actually spend to recover? Because of that $20 million endowment, they probably spent millions of dollars trying to recover.
Yeah.
So, we have Costa Rica now going through a national emergency because of cyber attacks. You know,
What's shutting down over there?
multiple departments inside of Costa Rica got attacked by Conti ransomware, and they aren't going to pay the ransom. And so there's a national emergency right now in Costa Rica where a lot of their government function is just completely inoperable. So you have a country under siege. You have a college that's been around for 157 years that has now gone away, and it just highlights. I think the biggest thing for me is it highlights how unprepared not just countries are and universities, but like even you bring that down to small business, how unprepared they are for something like this. There's a pretty easy strategy. If you have an incident response plan, and if you don't, you should have one. But if you do, you can run through something like a tabletop exercise where you actually put a scenario, have somebody come in and put a scenario in front of you that it doesn't have to be ransomware. It could be business email compromise. It could be a fire in your building. It could be tornado, flooding, whatever. Pick something, run through your response plan, and you're going to find holes. You're going to find gaps, especially if you have the right people in the place. And if you don't have a plan, this is the stuff that really can. It highlights how dangerous it really is to not have a plan.
Sure. The Conti attacks in general, are they coming in through email? How are they coming in?
Yeah, most of it's business email compromise at this point. The U.S. government just put a $10 million ransom out, or a $10 million not ransom, $10 million bounty out for Conti. Yeah, it was $10 million, but I think somebody was reporting it was 15, but I'm pretty sure it's $10 million. It's U.S. State Department.
I was talking to somebody the other day who's working with a Votech school, and he's going in there and teaching on the side a class of students on bounty hunting, on bug hunting. So these kids are now getting fully engaged in jumping in, using some of the OWASP tools and other things out there, and really finding bugs and cleaning up the internet, which is pretty cool. That you've got these 16, 17-year-olds that are actually instead of just playing video games, now they're actually doing bug hunting and making money on it.
Well, and you can make a lot of money. There's some people that do 6 figures plus a year just doing bug bounties.
So
Google and Microsoft pay pretty well for that.
I mean, we should do a call on that if people are interested in in the bug bounties, because I could get Tom to come in and talk about it, and
that'd be cool. Yeah.
So a recap for this week is the bad guys are still there, and in this case, it was a larger university that obviously had a staff of people out there that were watching. We don't know the specifics of what they had out there. It could be another case of something like Target, where they had a whole bunch of tools, and it was really shelfware because we checked the box that we had the tool, but no one actually looked at the tool. We don't know that, but just make sure that internally for your business that you guys are doing the right stuff. Make sure that you are getting your patches. Make sure that you've got other monitoring in place besides just your antivirus. And like Chris said, do a tabletop exercise. Run through the scenario. What would happen? How would you respond if something happened today?
And one of the most powerful ways to do that is to have a third party come in and talk to you about it. Have somebody else run it for you, not somebody inside your company, because they're gonna kind of be lax on this. Have somebody come in there and run it like a real tabletop, where they're actually going to throw curveballs to you during it to make sure that what you have planned is actually going to happen.
And if you're looking for a third party to do that, Chris and I could certainly help you around that. And it doesn't have to be a big intrusive scan either. We could run a level 1 risk assessment and really find some holes. Look for potential holes in your environment that you guys may have thought they had covered. And having us do that is much better than having the bad guys do it, because we're going to let you know what we find. The bad guys are just going to go after the money and ransom.
Yeah. So we could do this you could do it over Zoom too as well, or Teams or whatever. You don't have to do it in person if you don't need to, especially if you're a distributed organization. So
cool. So reach out to us with any new topics you'd like to talk about. Be sure to comment in the chat if you've heard or seen of a business that went out of business because of a ransomware. And that's all I got for this week.
Yeah, DM us if you don't want to comment down below. Just DM one of us, and we'll bring it to light. We'll we'll anonymize the information if you give us a story or something like that. But we're all here to spread the word. We just want to share information and help people out. So
Cool. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Have a good week, guys.